Assalamu alaikum. Suleiman Raheem here. Welcome. Let's slay some demons. Sisters and brothers, we're at critical time. Some of you should be well aware of that. Some of you are not. You can tell. It seems most of us are deluded, totally out of sync with reality. We think we're in reality because that's what we see, and it's an illusion. That's what we're going to talk about, illusions and delusions. Because they're in sync with an illusion means they are a touch of reality. But because they're in sync with the illusion, they think they're in reality. That's the problem. It's like democracy. You think, well, if you with the majority, right, then that means you must be okay because you're normal. So normal means, you're in sync with the prevailing reality. But the prevailing reality may be false. So you find comfort in going along with the crowd, but the crowd may be walking off a cliff. And that's the dilemma that we're facing, our people are facing now. Because they live in a false reality. They're the enemy's mind, and the enemies are closing in on them. So that's what we're going to talk about, brothers and sisters. Illusions, delusions. And when you're in a delusion, an illusion, sometimes it takes dramatic action to break you out of it. It's like you're in a nightmare and you think that's reality. And you think you're actually experiencing those things that you're seeing in that nightmare. Someone has to come in, shake you, grab you, snap you out of it. Many people die in their sleep because of nightmares. Depends on their situation. They can have a heart attack or something because it seems so real, and they die in their sleep. That's an unspoken of reality, but it happens. Because those of you who experience nightmares, some of you know how real they can seem. And if you have a heart condition, you have a heart attack in your nightmare, and you don't wake up. So that's what we're going to focus on, brothers and sisters, and in some degree of detail. So let's proceed. Illusions, delusions. 2021, reality explosion. We're about to experience a reality explosion, an atom explosion. Atom, A-T-T-O-M, reality explosion. First, we want to bring us up to date here. Some things that's developing around us. If you notice today, they're talking about China, possibly nuclear war with China. It's on the news. Check it out. Today is the 4th of February, 2021. That's going to happen. Wars, rumors of wars. But the first war is going to be with the war of Iran. That's the first one. But the war in China is going to happen. Every indication is there. Brothers and sisters, focus on the times. Focus on what's going on. Because the thing is that you see, it's like you see clouds building up. You say, well, it's going to rain. They got to get dark. You say, well, the darker it gets, you know, and you see lightning and thunder. You know, it's about to rain. That's what you see. You hear thunder and lightning. You see it's getting dark. That means it's about to rain. It's about to be a tornado. You see all this is building. Right? You got a person in there that's senile, got point to prove, zero testosterone, so he's got to screw something, prove he's got balls. You got China is moving on the move. Now they position themselves, you know, around Taiwan, and America's positioned themselves, and America's committed that we're going to defend Taiwan, and China's committed that we're going to take Taiwan, and they're making moves, more aggressive moves to that end. You see, Iran's being threatened by Germany, France, Britain, and America with military action, not sanctions, with military action. If they don't stop enriching uranium, and especially metallic uranium. It's about imminent, not 20 years from now, not 5 months from now. They want them to stop immediately. Because now they're saying they're only weeks away from a bomb, and they've already committed they would never let them have a bomb. And now they're saying they're only weeks away. Don't you see what's going on here? That's on the external front. Now what's happening on the internal front should really alarm you, but most of you are totally asleep. You're worried about NFL and all this crazy stuff I see on the social media. I mean, that's the last place I ever wanted to be on social media, because it's a pigsty. It's garbage. But that's where our people are. So you have to go where they are. This guy that they love so much, Mr. Biden, is the, if you want to call Trump a racist, this guy is the king racist. All the so-called policies that he's now denouncing, he was instrumental in either proposing them, implementing in them, right, or proposing them and implementing them, supporting them. He's the guy. Now he said, oh, we got to get rid. He's the one that set all that up. Prisons, you know, 3-strike law, right? Sending jobs overseas, all these wars, abortion. He's the guy. The same guy said he didn't want to send this when they had so-called civil rights busing. He didn't want to send his children to jungle schools. So now he's pretending, oh well, we got to get rid of all this stuff. But yet still, the person that they claimed was racist, he was getting rid of all that stuff. He was actually getting rid of it, not because he loved us, because it was hurting middle class and poor whites. Because the Democratic Party was willing to get them to get at us, because they the ones, Jim Crow, Civil War, slavery, rebels, all that kind of stuff. They lost on the battlefield. They figured where they couldn't win on the battlefield, they went on the political field and the economic field, and that's they've been on the process of doing it. It says they're going to be cunning. They're going to be very shrewd. They say you're not going to see it coming. It's going to come as a snare. So if that means that who is it doing it? He said it's not going to be straight. You look at, oh man, the people are straight. He said they won't be straightforward. So if somebody's trying to trick you, trying to rip you off your money, they'll keep smiling, pat you on the back. Oh man, I'm your long lost cousin. We love you, right? Until they get what they want. That's how a trickster does it, a deceiver. They're going to pretend they're your friend. They're going to say, enlist your help to get rid of you. And look what's going on now. They got all these things that come. Look what they're building. They're building a case to get ready to set you up, and they're using people who look like you to do it. We're going to talk about that kind of stuff. But now, what's all this internal stuff is about? Internal, right? We got to have a truth commission, right? They're going to censor, and we're going to get internal insurrectionists and people that's, who you think they're after? They set these laws up, right? That's the snare. They set it up. You're walking right into it. And they got you walking right into it, and they got people look like you. That's the bait to pull you in. Or they put all these people in these top positions. Now the person in charge of the Pentagon, the black person. Yeah, but he's a Negro. He's a house Negro. He would never got there talking like a real, if he's a real original person, he would never got in that position. How you think he got there? He's talking about, he think he got there talking about, man, slave was bad, and Jefferson and Washington was slave owners, and they was raping. You think he got there talking like that? They call him Powell guy. He was talking like that. He says, Tom Powell would say stuff like, man, Jefferson was your favorite president. Really? That's like if you said, well, he did some good things. You never hear that. And on that subject, right, they was happy that Germany teared out all that stuff that had anything with the Germany, and anything had to do with Hitler, and anything to do with the Nazi party. Get rid of all that stuff. They was happy. But then when they say, do it over here, get rid of all the stuff about Jefferson and Washington and slavery and all that kind of stuff. No, man, that's not history. You see, why? Why would they say it? Because they don't honor those people. They don't have no kettle love for you Negroes. Yeah, get rid of all that nonsense. Yeah, because they was doing it to Jews, see? Get rid of all that stuff. You can't even talk about Hitler over in Germany. You can't have any kind of picture, anything of him, or a Nazi party, any of that stuff. You can't have any connection with it whatsoever. But yet still, they still have this love affair with all the so-called founding fathers, with all racist slavers, and they was 10,000 times worse than Hitler was. Hitler didn't rape anybody. He wasn't sodomizing Jews. He wasn't doing that kind of stuff. He had people do it. But Jefferson and Washington, they was actually doing that stuff. And plus, it was also presiding over a nation that was doing it to all other black people. So you're going to tell me that somehow Hitler was better than them? I mean, they was better than Hitler? He was worse. They were worse. They was actually raping black women, black girls and toddlers, and even black boys. That's what they was doing. And it was presided over a nation that was doing it. And they classified you, right, as not even human. And they were personally doing this. They weren't just having their party do it. They was personally participating. Hitler didn't personally participate, but they personally participated, and they was happily doing it with alacrity. See? And they meant to do it forever. And like the Quran says, persecution is greater than slaughter. Hitler was just slaughtering them. They was persecuting you and slaughtering you. And you're going to tell me somehow they was better than him? And then you talk, oh man, you can't talk about that man because, they kept our constitution, they founding fathers. See, but yeah, get rid of everything happened to Hitler. But don't get rid of it. Don't get rid of wives. Don't get rid of. Don't call it change the name. Don't get rid of statues. Don't get rid of any of that stuff. Think about it. And Democratic Party's on with that, but they go along with some saying because they got an agenda. They got to get you solidly in that trap. And all these laws and stuff that come right now. Oh man, we gotta take in the internal threat. See, internal what do you call it? Internal terrorism. Domestic terrorism and stuff. They're setting the predicate in place, right, to close the door on you and use the people who look like you to do it. Because you don't see people original people on TV. You don't see them. You don't hear that kind of voice. That's the voice of Elijah Muhammad. You don't hear that voice on TV, in the movies, anywhere. See, the ones you hear are demons. So it makes you think that's the way we are. See, you see black faces, but you don't see black people. And that's part of the con game. You see black faces, you don't see black people. Those folks would never have gotten, if they was really, if they was so-called house Negroes, they would never got any of those positions. Only ones got in that positions are house Negroes, slave masters, children, demons, half demon, half man. They're the devil's seed. They're not our children. Elijah Muhammad said that message of black man. He says they take and have relationship with our women and produce their children. They're not our children. He says that. He don't say the word demon, but he says that concept is right in the message of the black man. So he's setting you up. See, while you sitting around here, oh man, Kobe was this and James, Magic Johnson, all this bullshit. So you keep on, because like I said, my people were lost for lack of knowledge, and many of you are going to be caught in the snare. Some of you. Only reason why all of you don't, because you understand. Only reason all of you don't get caught in the snare, because they forced to pull the snare a little bit faster, earlier than they expected to. Right? And so some of you are going to see the other ones caught up in it. That's when you're going to turn around. But they setting it up. You can see it. And they're in a rush to do it. Why? Because their game plan was cut short because of Trump. See? That's why they hate him so much. See? Because this plan was supposed to have been, they had all set up. Hillary was supposed to come in. Everything was supposed to smooth. Pull you right on in, right? And then, snap, then you're gone. But he interrupted it. Like I said, he wasn't doing it for help you. He was doing it because this was affecting poor whites and poor and middle class whites too. He was trying to help them, but in the process, it would help you because those programs that they was doing, sending jobs overseas, and all that kind of stuff in the prisons, and these laws and everything, domestic prison laws and all that kind of stuff, criminal laws, was hurting poor whites too. That's why I love them so much, because once they started reversing that, that was helping them. But the fallout of it, right, help you too. And that pissed off those Democrats. They pissed them off. Oh, they pissed them off. The Democrats, because that's messed with their plan. Because he wasn't figured in their plan. So they had to get him out fast. Everybody know they stole this election. They had to get him out fast to get their plan going, because they got a deadline. So we talked about that in previous presentations. So I'm not going to go into detail on that. But all this is up. And they said they'd be cunning and shrewd. So you won't see it coming. So look around you. Do you believe what the scriptures say? Do you believe what the scriptures say? If you believe it, then you know that there's a plan going on. And it won't be obvious to you. So you should look at the people that's patting you on the back and befriending you. That's probably where it's coming from. Okay, brothers and sisters. Anyway, 2020 kicked it off. 1619 to 2019, 4 years, 400 years enslavement. 2020 be the year of the plague, kill the firstborn, the elderly, and Passover for us. It's not killing us. That was a big secret. That's why they kept the fact that Black Africa wasn't being affected by it, because you're not either. The ones that's killing are the demons, slave masters' children, black-faced children. See, that's why we didn't give any numbers. See? So that's that right there. That's a glowing thing right there. How come they held that fact that we died disproportionately? And then all the way found October, it slipped out. It slipped out. It slipped out. That Black Africa wasn't being affected by that. That should have been the big news, right? Shouldn't that have been the big news? Hey man, everybody's kissed all over the world. But Black Africa is not being affected. Shouldn't that have been the news? That should be big news. It's been all over the place. It was hidden. Now you can find out because I'm making you aware of it. Primarily because most of you just haven't heard about it. I haven't met one black person out there that even knew about it. I had to go and show you the videos and show you where to find the information at. And now that all of a sudden, as soon as I revealed it, oh, well, South Africa's getting it. But then when you go and read the facts, South Africa is not getting it. It's the white people in South Africa that's getting it. Right? Black Africans is not getting it. And they're not social distancing. They're not wearing masks. And none of that stuff. They ain't taking any vaccines. And none of that. And they have poor healthcare system. They got all the demographics that we have over here, Christian, Muslim, eating pork, don't eat pork, whatever. High blood pressure, low blood pressure, low blood pressure, hypertension, all of it. And they're not getting it. So how come you dying disproportionately over here? Because you're not. The difference between Africa, black African here, is we have demons and they don't. See? We have all these slave master children look like us. They're the ones that's getting it. That's why Farrakhan so that's why he's wearing a mask. That's why his top people are dying over there, because he's full of house full of demons. So we talk about that. Anyway, let's move on, brothers and sisters.
And for this reason, God will send them strong delusion, that they should believe the lie, that they all may be condemned who did not believe the truth but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
Okay, brothers and sisters, it's talking about the son of perdition, people that's following him, right? It's not just them though, see? But he's saying they're going to be over with those other ones. In other words, we've said in the same category as everyone else that are not accepting the truth. Because if you accepted what Elijah Muhammad taught you, he put you in neutral. He's getting you out of the reverse. Put you in neutral so you can move forward. Be prepared for Suleiman when he showed up. See, because he go from Moses to line Aaron, who's part of delusion, because Aaron is the son of perdition, to Joshua. And so you had the gap between a 40-some year gap between the two. It tells you right in Exodus, Aaron would run things about 40 years. Yeah, God will come. We said Pharaoh came. Those of you that have any understanding what Elijah Muhammad taught knows this is right in there. So if you have no excuse. It said first God will come, and then Elijah, he would raise Elijah. Elijah would go for about 40 years, and then he would leave, and then Aaron would take. And Aaron would run for about 40 years, and he would deceive the people. He would get all kinds, he would have people worship all kinds of crazy stuff and everything else. He'd make the people a laughing stock. Isn't the Nation of Islam a laughing stock? It does not take it serious anymore. It's not feared. That's a fact. And that's what Aaron would do, or Farrakhan would do. And then after that 40 years, Moses would return, and all the people that was following Aaron was put to death, including Aaron. So that's the part you don't want to talk about. But that's it. And that's what's happening right now. So it's 40-some years over. It said the son of perdition will last 42 years. But what it's talking about here, it said delusions and illusion. So that means they're giving strong delusion. Not just delusions, strong delusions. See? Because they wouldn't be able to see the truth. Because now if you was with Elijah and you stuck with what Elijah taught you, then you would be immune to this. See, you wouldn't have the wisdom to Suleiman, but you'd be immune to this, to his delusions. Because Elijah Muhammad broke a lot of these delusions up. See? So if you was really with him, you would not be deceived by the things we're going to talk about here. Strong, it said strong delusions, not just delusions, strong delusions. Now what are those delusions? That means they're all, first of all, that means they're all deluded. They're all deluded. They're out of reality. Scientology, for instance. They're all deluded. Sunniism. They're all deluded. Elijah Muhammad told you mathematics is Islam. Islam is mathematics. Show me the mathematics in this in Sunnism. Show it to me. It's fake. It's fake Islam. It's fake Islam. It's not mathematical Islam. There's no reason or rationale or logic to it. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's move on. Okay, religion. 35,000 years ago was taken off the mathematical standard. What does that mean? There was no such thing as religion prior to 35,000 years ago. There was just reality. And the reality is mathematics. Mathematics is everything. No such thing as religion. Cats don't have religion. Dogs don't have religion. Lions don't have religion. Birds don't have religion. Even worms don't have religion. Right? Because they're in touch, they're into a reality. They know exactly what to do. So are they smarter than us? It was just mathematics, just logic, mathematics. That's what that no such thing as religion. That was a reality. So we didn't have any religion. Just reality. Mathematics, period. The better your mathematics, the more power you have over reality. The scientist was the wisest, had the greatest of the mathematicians. Allah is the supreme mathematician. He was wiser than all the others with mathematics. But there was no such thing as religion. See? And then came along Dr. Buddha, and he came up with a religion. See? He took it off the mathematical standard. So once you're off the mathematical standard, then you don't have to be logical. You have to be logical on anything. You have to be reasonable. You have to be logical. You have to be any of that. Something here. That's good enough. You don't have to be any of that. And so now you come with philosophies. Well, I think it should be this way. I think it should be that way. Because in part, that was because in the lesson tells they were the first enemy of Islam. What does that mean? Because 50,000 years ago, Dr. Shabazz made an agreement with all the tribes. They had a discussion because they saw we was going through a time of energy deprivation, which means all the energy you see out in the universe was once, Quran tells you, was once the atmosphere of the earth. Everything was that's what the caves call a Big Bang, but it wasn't the size of an atom. It was size, if you believe the whole universe was the size of an atom, and KV tells you the entire universe initially was the size of an atom and exploded. If you can believe that, you sure have no problem believing that all the universe could have been just the atmosphere of the earth. A lot bigger. That's what the Quran tells us. So now the energy's out there. We use energy to give form to we use energy. We took our energy and gave form to it. Stars, see, energy is just energy. It takes us to give form to it so that you know that we exist, because it won't take form by itself. Even the scientists, KV scientists, say they don't know how the universe took form. They say because from their point of view, the Big Bang, it should just been a big cloud of energy. Because we gave it form. We made the planets and the stars and the moons and all those things, and the constellations and the galaxies. We did that. We gave it form. So the agreement was, since we in energy deprivation, means all the energy out there be low energy here. So we come to a point where we'd have enough energy to maintain ourselves. Energy deprivation. So we wouldn't be able to maintain civilization. And the whole idea was, the whole point was, is that during this period of time, they saw Dr. Yaqub coming, and they wanted to know how to deal with it. where they would allow him to come and do what he was going to do, or take some other form. So they agreed, right, that they would allow Dr. Yakub to do his thing, because we didn't have to let Dr. Yakub do his thing. We still went through hell that we went through, but we wouldn't have had those to deal with. We'd probably just been fighting ourselves and all kinds of conflict. We still had conflict. It just took a different nature, right? So they said, okay, they thought the best deal was let Dr. Yakub come along. See, because this 50,000 years ago now, right? So you're looking 46,000 years to the 44,000 years to the future. See, see Dr. Yakub coming. So they said, okay, we'll let that happen that way, right? But the whole thing is that what's the best way to deal with it? So we agreed to make a sacrifice, us, tribe of Shabazz. There was many tribes. See, we all were original, just said different families. Dr. Shabazz, right? We was the top tribe. We had many tribes. You had a tribe, but we was in Asia. See, that's where you see Arabia and all that kind of stuff. That's where we live. You had another tribe that was down in Africa. They're still there now, right? They're called the Levites. Right? That's the Levite tribe. See, but we ended up moving down into Africa, right, and live with them. See, and part of the reason because this Ishmael thing, we're not going to talk about that right now. Anyway, so we're living there together. That's why we're over here together. It's Levites over here and Israel, the true Israel. We're living there together, but it was two different tribes. But we agreed to sacrifice. They said, okay, if we sacrifice, right, and let Dr. Yakub's creation chew on us, right, for the last 400, 500 years of their existence, that would distract them from going after other nations. So it saved them. That's the whole idea. Like you have lions chasing you, and you got a whole bunch of lamb, and you know they're gonna catch you, eat up all the lamb. So what you do is you sacrifice a couple of lambs. You don't want to do it, but while they're munching them, the rest get away. It's that kind of idea. We agreed, and the point is that we agreed to do that, and as a result of that, right, we would inherit the best part of the planet Earth. At that time, that's where we were. We was in Arabia, and everybody agreed. See, and then 15,000 years later, Dr. Buddha came along. Look at this situation. Hey, we ain't gonna do that. See? So he started his first attack to separate us from our creation. We're the creators. That's Buddhism. See, take it off the mathematical standard, so we don't look at things mathematical anymore. Separate us from our creation. I'm not going into a lot of detail here, but that's one of the first illusions. So now we don't see reality. We see they make up realities, philosophies. That's our secret reality. Because once they disconnect you from reality, you lose all your power. Because your power is in, we had the power to say be and it is, because you had to be connected to reality to do that. You had to be connected to mathematics. Because everything you see that is mathematical. Everything is, so the B had to be mathematics. But the B is this mathematics, and the is the science to take the B and make it is. You need the mathematics, you need the science to convert B to is. And so what you saw as a result is all our society, everything disappearing because it's off the mathematical standard. So by the time Dr. Yakub came along, right, people was more and more rural. I mean, not rural, but technology and everything was disappearing rapidly. A lot was on purpose. A lot of it took off planet, just got, hit it. Because we didn't want Dr. Yakub and his creation to get hold of it. But anyway, people lost, but then you couldn't produce people that could handle it because They weren't thinking mathematically anymore. We separate us from our creation. And that's all about. So now you got all these religions. And none of them can produce anything. Think about it. Now, one of these religions can produce anything. There's nothing around you that any of these religions have produced except talk. You don't have one cell phone, you don't have car, you have anything that produced by any one of these religions. They haven't produced anything. Not even food or anything. They haven't produced anything. Nothing. Nothing. Everything you see around here came from mathematics. Everything. Show me one thing any of these religions produced. Not any of them. From Judaism to Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, none. Sunnism haven't produced anything. Just talking philosophy. Produced nothing. Because it took you out the mathematical standard. The only thing that's producing anything is mathematics. So we're going to talk about that. But it took you off the mathematical standard. So now you got this big illusion. Now you got all these illusions, all these reality, all these, they're not real, they're illusions, they're not realities. So everybody's in this, all these things, they out of touch with reality. They believe in things that happen when they die, that you can't prove, right? Reincarnation, you can't prove, things you can't prove. And they tell you, well, you just gotta have faith. Not knowledge, because they can't give any knowledge, just faith. Not facts, just faith. They can't prove any of it. Not one of them can prove anything that they say. Can't prove any of it. Nothing of it. None of it. And that's what's been done. So that's to set you up for all these other delusions. So that's the predicate for all the other delusions to follow. That started. Buddha started the whole thing. And so now, right now, you see the original people, the creators of God, they're totally lost. They're totally lost. Because they're totally disconnected from their creation. They're the creators and they don't even know it. They're totally disconnected. Because and most of them don't want to have anything to do with mathematics. That's how bad it's become. And that's their power. Because once they get back on the mathematical standard, that's it. It's all over. They take control of their creation. That means the whole universe, nothing can withstand them. Nothing can stand against them. Nothing can resist them. Because the time of energy deprivation is past. But never had energy, but our energy is on bullshit. We'll watch NFL and go out here and play these stupid games and video game stuff. And it's just wasted. We waste it because we're totally out of touch with our creation, mentally and physically. See, mathematics once we once we return, have a thorough knowledge of ourselves and return to our original state, there will not be anything that's a religion. Think about it. If mathematics is the only thing, right, then why would you have to give it a name? You have to give air a name. Yeah, why do you have to give it a name? See, only reason why I say black people, if there's all black people, you don't say, well, we black people. Why would you do that? You say it because there's white people or yellow people or brown people. But if there's only one people, you don't say it anymore. So say, you're back to ask you, what's your religion? Why would they ask you what your religion is? You don't hear cows and dogs talking about religion. What's the dog's religion? You understand? So we're back to where we were. The whole idea of religion would be gone. That idea came with Buddhism. Then we had, okay, which would you believe? See, now because it's a question. It won't be a question anymore. Okay, let's move on. Remember, this laid the foundation for all illusions to follow. Money. That's one of the biggest delusions. When you understand how pressure works, that's why pressure, remember, the universe is energy, period. Pressure is the form that energy takes. The whole universe is energy. It's just mathematics. Just mathematics, period. It's not something that acts like mathematics. It's just mathematics. Simply mathematics. Energy is mathematics. Every action has opposite or equal reaction. That's a mathematical fact. That's what energy is. And that's all. It's just mathematics, period. Say, well, it got to be something that acts like, well, no, it's not something that acts like mathematics. It is mathematics. I know it's hard for some people to understand it, but it's just mathematics, period. Islam is mathematics, mathematics, Islam. Right? So when you understand pressure is a science to give mathematics form. See, we got to give it form. It was just 10. If it's just 10, okay, we give form. So you make it 5 plus 5, or 1 plus a 9, or 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. You know, you give it form. Before it was just 10. Now you gave it form. You know, 11 minus 1, you give it form. That's what we gave it form. So once you understand pressure is force. Every action has an opposite equal reaction. That's all pressure is. I keep saying over and over again, pressure is just force spread out. That's all it is. So everyone, and if you understand the pressure field, everyone has an equal amount of energy, period. Mass times acceleration equals force. So if the force is 12, that means it comes in different forms. It comes 12 times 1, 4 times 3, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. It just comes in different forms. See, come 24 divided by 2, just come in different forms. But it still will come out to 12. So if you are 12, mass times acceleration, right? So acceleration energy. So if you are mass, so you're 12, you're only gonna have 1 unit of energy. See, we're more massive because we have greater structure. So we have low energy because we're greater mass when it's 12. But if you are 1, right, that means you have very low structure. You have a lot of energy. 1 times 12, you're gonna have 12. So you have a lot of energy, so you have a lot of power. That's the science behind making Dr. Yakub's creation, because he stripped down a version of us that didn't require as much energy for maintenance, so he did a lot of disposable incomes. That means he gave the power to rule. That's why he's making mystery shed blood. He's a weak person, weak-minded, paranoid, evil person, but because he's stripped down version, but he has a lot of energy, disposable energy, so he had power to rule. Until the pressure became too great where he can't withstand it anymore. Because remember, he's weak, he has a weaker structure. So he can't take with so much pressure. So the pressure becomes greater, he's gone. But the pressure, same pressure that's crushed him, lifts us up. He can only exist during time of energy deprivation when we didn't have enough energy to do anything against him. But once energy starts increasing again, right, then eventually he's crushed by it. So the whole idea behind money is we had a currency, but not like this. Because everybody has the same amount of energy. So that's the same thing. Because we're people, and the thing is the resources of our tribe were split evenly amongst everybody in the tribe. Everybody got the same amount. So that's in accordance with how pressure works. Now what you do is up to you. If you want to take, and you got $1 million, and you want to take and build a shit farm, or you can build a shit farm. If you want to build $1 million mine, you have a diamond mine, you have a diamond. That's up to you what form it takes. But the point is, you still have the same amount of energy. Everyone has the same amount of energy. That's the way our currency works. And that's not socialism or all that kind of crap they talk about. Right? That's a whole different idea. But everybody has the same. But see, the illusion with money, what's the illusion here? The delusion. Because they can't with this type of money, because now they can make you think that you have more. So hey, if you see, because that's how they control you. Oh, if you work for me, I'll give you this. I'll give you more. So in other words, if you do what I tell you to do, you get more energy. But that's not reality. That's not the way the universe works. But they think you have more. So in other words, you won't just get $1,000 a day like everybody else. You're going to get $2,000 a day. Oh, man, I'm going to get more. So now you get your energy to that person. You give, because remember, you got to give them something to get that. So now they have control over you. So now you got $2,000 a day. You don't realize that you only have $1,000. Now you got $1,000 worth of negative energy. You got $1,000 worth of bad luck. That's what you've done, but you don't realize that. See, because you don't understand, and maybe you might understand later on when you start finding out that you developed a cancer, that you was cultivating a cancer for 5 or 6 years. It kept growing and growing and growing. The more you got, the worse it got, until it got to the point where it took you out. Right? Or you start having mentally disabled children, right? Or you start having accidents, right? Or all the land that you bought, right, turn out to be termite infested, or some house you bought would turn out to be termite infested. You see what I'm saying? So you never had any, you don't get any. But that's a trick, that's illusion. That's how they control you. Hey man, if you come work for me, I'll give you, I'm rich. Now you can be a billionaire. He's a big man. And he has no more, that person has no more than you or no one else. That's why the 10 Commandments said, do not covet. See? Because they may have a wife, right, that's going to produce terrible children, or they're going to take and kill them in their sleep or something, right? They'll get some kind of disease, right? Or their family's going to be totally destroyed in a fire or something. Something, it's going to balance. There's no exceptions. Every action has an absolute equal, it's called consequence. So maybe their whole family unit, whole seed will be wiped out. Because we see it during history, whole nations are wiped out, destroyed. Because everybody in it, right, was fell victims, or they fly on a plane and the whole plane crash, kill everybody on it. Because they all got together, all of them was part of it. They didn't realize it, and they all got the same idea to catch this particular plane. So it took them all out. Or there's no such thing as an accident. It's all mathematics. See? So I hope you understand that concept. So it's an illusion. It's an illusion. That's why the Quran says, spend out what we have given you. Spend out what we have given, not what Caesar gives you, not what Pharaoh gives you, not what the president gives you, what we have given you. And whereas we the universe, we're the balance. Spend out what we have given you, not what they have given you. It's right. That's one of the first things to tell you in the Quran, and most people understand what that means. So, how do you know what we're talking? What we give? How do we know what that is? I'm just telling you what it is. See, that's why I say charity is zakat. Because if you get $1,000 a day, right, that's the way to protect yourself. And you say you give $200 away, now you only have $800, but now you've created $200 worth of positive energy for yourself. So now maybe you may be healing that tumor that you was developing that you even know you had. So it started growing, and then it went. You never even know you had it, and it went away because you was taking extra. Then you repented. So repent means to reorganize, to change. It don't mean just stop doing it. It means repent or reorganize. So in other words, now you stop doing the negative thing, you start doing the positive thing. So now you got here taking $200, stealing $200 from everybody every day, right? So now you spill $200 worth of negative energy on yourself because you have supposed to have 1,000, you got 1,200. So now you build that. So it comes in all kinds of ways. It comes to you as some kind of disease or accident, or it could be something that you think is long term, where you get the idea in your mind to move to this particular place, right? Where you don't know it's going to be a volcano that's going to blow up there in 2 or 3 years. So you was moving into it. So it was happening to you all the time. It was happening to you immediately. But it happened to you that way that you start moving into a destructive zone. See? And so the point is, it may be at the point where you have to build up $1,000 worth of negative energy to be destroyed. So now you start moving towards that way. So the more you move, the more you're moving, right? So you're taking 200, and every 200 you're taking that you ain't supposed to be taking every day is a step close to your destruction. No one gets away from this earth. No one gets away from this earth without their balance is totally, their account is totally balanced. See? So you think you've been cheating and stealing? Well, no, when you leave here, by the time you leave here, your whole account will be settled. Believe me, it will be settled. No one leaves here without your account. You leave it maybe a very terrible way, but your account will be balanced. See? So that's the trick. That's the illusion of money. So when you give away, like I said, when you give zakat, it's one of the 5 mathematical principles. Understand? It's to produce a current. You can produce a positive current or a negative current. What's a negative current? Negative current is bad luck. Positive current is good luck. Negative current means things going away from you. In other words, suddenly, as soon as you got this extra money, all of a sudden you got this idea, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna buy that, or I'm gonna buy this home over here, or whatever. It affects your mind. So you start doing destructive things. See? But if you're doing charity, you start doing constructive things. Maybe now you might meet someone, right? You might meet your spouse. That's going to be a joy to you because now you're building this positive energy. So you meet a positive person, or you meet a person that's doing negative. That's going to cause you a lot of trouble. See, a spouse is going to take your kids and turn them against you or whatever. So don't be envious of people that think they don't have any more than you. When you understand the principle of pressure, you understand no one has more than you. It's just the nature of how they have it. It's just, whether it's that they might have all the bail over they, they have no more than you have. Period. I don't get it. You didn't have a billionaire or out there homeless. They have no more than you have. Even a homeless person, they have no more. They have exactly what you have. Only thing is the form it takes. See, it's either like in situation 12, right? It's either 6 plus 6, right? 8 plus 4, right? 5 plus 7, or 3 times 4, or 2 times 6. It's still 12. See? Once you understand it, then you can figure out people. Because you can say, you realize they don't have any more than you have. So now you can look and see what they think, what you see on the surface, and realize, hey, they might be able to see what's behind the scenes that they're hiding. Okay, let's move on, brothers and sisters. Wealth. Another great illusion. Let's get back to money back to money too. So they get illusion. You're going to have wealth. See? That's why the Quran is against usury. Does you understand what these things mean? Because now, okay, you can have this is how, but you get this mortgage to go with it. So you don't really have anything. Because if everything's at 0 and you produce a 10, that means you're going to produce a negative 10, right? So all you show is a 10. Look what I got. But they hide the negative 10 because they have nothing. Because they got the mortgage. And what's the difference there? The difference is they got to pay interest on it, and not only that, but they got to work for you to get it. So master say, look, okay, you work for me, I'm going to give you some money, right? Illusion, right? And you can buy his house over here and a car. See? But his brother, Master Junior, his son Master Junior, he owns the bank that you had to get the mortgage from and the car note. So you don't have anything. Plus he's charging you interest. But you got to work for Master, right, to get that loan, to have that house. So what do you have? You're a servant. You made yourself a servant, a slave. And stuff depreciates, so after a while, it's no good anyway. Well, you say, well, the house that appreciates, well, it's not going to last forever. That's another story. But the point is, you understand what's going on there? You have nothing. You have an illusion of something, illusion of it. You don't have the reality of it. That will not happen hereafter. We will not have usury. You own what you have. Everybody will have their house. Everybody have we won't have vehicles, but we have ways to get through the universe. We have these things like, these things you call UFOs, but that's another story. Everybody will have. You own it. You won't get anything from credit. Everybody has their own house. It won't be on credit. Because they give you an illusion of things. You don't have anything. And plus, you got to work for them to get it. You got to work for anybody and you have to get anything. Because hereafter, everybody will do what they want to do as far as what their abilities are. You see bees. Bees don't sit around here, letting around, and ants letting around. And I'm laying back watching them fail. Everybody does exactly what they were created to do, and they're happy to do it. And you're going to be happy to do what a nation produces with a nation's a body. We have eye cells, brain cells, butt cells, ear cells, whatever. All of us together. You think of us like a body, have all these cells independent, running around. But it's still part of the body. That's what you need to think of a nation. So we got people that love to farm. That's what they want to do. And that's what they're going to do. Other people love to think, decide, that's what they want to do. That's all they're going to do. People love music. That's what they're going to do. It's all going to work together perfectly. Not like this, see, because they take a distorted, and that's another story. And they take our nation and sucking our blood and make us, we can't, we're by this with a cancer. So all the cells are working against each other. But that's what's happening. You have nothing. It's an illusion of having wealth. Oh man, I got all this here. What about the mortgage? And why you got to work, you got to be a slave for master to get it. So you have nothing. Move on, brothers and sisters. It's another illusion. Drugs. See? In a sense of endorphins, right? Use that. Endorphins is a chemical you produce to have well-being. And so, say every morning you produce 24,000, 1,000, for every hour. It lasts you the whole day. So every morning you wake up, you refresh, your body produces 24 and releases 24,000 endorphins and releases, that's how much you need to be for well-being for a day, and releases 1,000 every hour. So now, you have a sense of well-being. Okay? Then they come along and give you this big illusion, give you some drugs, crack cocaine, right? So then you hit that morning, bam, bam! Now you got this big euphoria, because what you did is all that 24 that you was time released, like a time capsule, it all released in one instant. One instant. So now you feel euphoric. Oh man. But then what happens? Now it's all used up for that day. Then the rest of the day, you in withdrawal. You feel bad. You have a sense of insecurity. You're nervous. You're a wreck. So that drug didn't make you high. That drug just used you, created illusion, right? That you fell for. It just made you use all your endorphins all in one instant. So now you're in withdrawal for the rest of the day. And you keep taking the drug, you never get back to where you were. If that drug was make you high, that drug itself was doing it. How come the next time you take it, you don't feel the same way you felt the first time? Right? You eat a piece of pie, right? And you eat another piece of pie, after it still tastes the same, don't it? Because it's sugar, right? But this here, you don't get the same feeling the next time. And each time you feel it worse and worse and worse. So you need more and more and more. And you still don't get anywhere near the first time or second, whatever. Another illusion. And our people falling for it. Because they want to feel good. Okay, we'll make you feel good. Take this. See? And then now they made you a slave that. Because now you want to feel good all the time, like that first time, right? And so now you're a slave to them. Because now you're working to give them money, right? To keep on trying to get back to where you were originally. Another illusion. Another way of controlling you. All these illusions that control you, get you off with your creation. Get you control. Remember, they're going to be ruling. This is time of Dr. Yaqub Christ. They was made mission shed blood. They was made rule. This is their rule. This is how they ruling you. With illusions. And it says strong delusions. Illusions and strong delusions. That's how they're ruling you. You fall in any of these traps. They got all these traps for you. The money trap. The drug trap. The wealth trap. All designed to control you. And you have nothing. They gave you nothing. But they have control of you. And you want to, I got this and you got nothing. Then they got illusion of the light. The guide. Someone is supposed to give you the truth. That's an illusion. A delusion. Because he's the master of delusion. What? Now I'm going to say he's the master of delusion. But he's son of perdition. He's a big part of delusion. He's illusion to get us to escape the other illusions. Because Elijah Muhammad, right? To follow him, he's an illusion itself. Because he's making you think that you follow the truth. See, in other words, Elijah Muhammad came and he dispelled the illusion, the delusions. But then it's okay, well, he's gone, so now they give you him, and you make think that he's following Elijah Muhammad's footsteps. Illusion. Because he tells you, message of the black man, how to live, and all that kind of stuff. Those just bait on his hook. But when you get in there, you don't get any of that stuff. You get Scientology, you get all this stuff. He can tell you we ain't going nowhere. He's totally against everything Elijah Muhammad talked about. Bringing devils in. You can't talk devils anymore. Father Flage, you're right. He's not a devil. Can't call devils anymore. See? Bring devils in NOI. So forth, so on. Another illusion. The strong delusions. Scientology, where if you make salat as the Quran teach you, right, reciting the Quran properly, it does everything that Scientology is supposed to do, but you got to pay for Scientology, and plus only that, right? That's one of the means they have control you, because you have to confess, and you have to do it if you want to get anywhere with him. You have to confess stuff, all your details, your life, everything about it. Now, where do you think information goes? It goes to him and the FBI, how they get control of you. You think the people that's doing it are not going, oh, sister, brother, Ishmael over there, man, he's had intercession now. What did he tell you about? I can't tell you. I can't tell you, dear Farrakhan, I can't tell you, minister, brother minister. Oh, really? You can't tell me? You MGT, you one of my so-called MGT, want to be MGTFO, you can't tell me? You think that's the way it goes down? So now you know all your details that you thought was secret. That's why a lot of Muhammad told you keep your damn mouth shut. He had a big old thing, keep your mouth shut, zipper. Even the Bible tells you, don't let your left hand or your right hand do it. But now he's got this method right here. You tell him all your secrets. So then he throws it back in your face. Well, I know some of you brothers out there, man, y'all been sleeping with y'all daughters. How you think he know that? That's how he keeps him in line. That's another story we'll talk about some other time. When demon-possessed man, how he was controlling them. See? So he's the illusion. See? To keep you away from the reality. Because it says it would be God, Farad, Moses, Elijah, then Lion, Aaron, Farrakhan, and then come Joshua. So he's the illusion to keep you from seeing Joshua when he comes up. The one that breaks the seals. He hasn't broken any seals. See? Because he'd be Joshua to break the seals. He's the illusion to keep you away from this reality. So move on. Democracy delusion. Oh, we all can vote. Okay? We don't have no king. So it means you in control. The illusion of you, to give you the illusion that you're in control. It's like the other one with Farrakhan, they get the illusion that, right, that you was on the right path. See? Because I'm with Elijah. See, he's with Elijah. I'm on the right path. And he's taking opposite direction. He's illusion. He think you with Elijah Muhammad. You ain't with Elijah Muhammad. Because if you read Exodus, what happened was is that when Elijah came, according to where it says in Exodus, right? The first thing he said, "Those who are with me come with me." So he had to separate him out from Aaron's followers, because they thought they was together. And then he realized no, because they heard Elijah said, no, those you with me. Oh, you mean, wait a minute, that's a difference? Then they realized it was a difference because they was all together. So he said, there was a difference? So, yeah. So, hey, I'm with Elijah. See, because, I mean, if you was with Elijah, right, then Elijah shows up, you're going to be with him because, I mean, you're right. But if you wasn't with him, you understand what I'm saying? So some of them wasn't with him, Elijah. They knew they wasn't with Elijah, but they had the other ones that was in there, right, thinking they were. And so it was all mixed together. And they thought, hey, man, we all together, right? But they didn't realize the other people wasn't with Elijah at all. And that's why he says, who with me? Because people say, hey, so, well, if you was with Elijah, when you see Elijah, you're going to come right to Elijah. Yeah. What's wrong with y'all? Because they wouldn't with Elijah at all. It was a Farrakhan. There was a difference. There was a difference, but you didn't realize it because the illusion. See, because it says those those in there with him, around him, following him, right? Because you all followed him because you thought you was following Elijah. So he gave you strong delusion. He deluded you until the earth-shaking reality broke up when Elijah came and said, hey, well, oh yeah, I'm with you, Elijah. Then you realize you wasn't with Elijah. You had been with Farrakhan. But now you saw the truth. You saw it couldn't tell you right hand from your left hand. That's what it's telling you. So you could decide. You couldn't figure out who was, your right hand from your left hand. You thought it was the same thing until the right hand showed up. Oh, you see. So now we get to this thing about you got your king. Who's your king? Your king is Farad, King of kings and Lords of lords. He's your king. But they give you illusion. So you don't want a king. You want democracy because I got control. I can vote. You really? And think democracy is a king? It's just a snake with a lot of heads on it. It's still a snake. It's got a lot of heads. And you think your one vote changes anything? And then even if you do, right? That means what they're doing is going to be any better than a king would do? You got confusion, so they're not even clear. So they're not even clear heads like following a drunken man. Don't you want to, when you follow a man that is sane and knows his mind, knows what he's going to do, rather than people that are drunk, they can't decide what they're going to do, because that's what it's all about, compromise and trying to figure out what we're going to do. One day it's this way, one day it's that way, one day it's Trump, one day it's Biden, one day it's Clinton. You go back and forth and everything else. You're double-minded. You don't have any idea the country's going one way. One day the country's going this way. Next day the country's going that way. You can't decide. You can't decide your future because you know how the future's going to be. Like this Biden came, he changed everything. He started changing everything. These people had good productive, so-called good productive jobs. Their job is gone. Why? Because of an election. And they tell you that's better because now the people have control. Really? If people have control, that means you have no control. Because you go along with everybody else doing, and they may not. You might like what they're doing, and your vote going to change something. If you got a righteous king, that's what you want. You want somebody who's going to do the right thing for you. That's why they're confused right now. Wear masks, don't wear masks. Fight this war, don't fight this war. Vaccine, don't vaccine. Everybody's confused. Vote for Democrats, vote for Republicans, this, that, whatever. And you sitting around trying to figure out what they're going to do, and your little vote changed something. And on top of that, right, what would you rather your mind be disciplined by your body, or your body disciplined by your mind? Because that's what it comes down to. Because if you got one person that's intelligent, if you got one person that knows the way, right, you going someplace, right, and you got a guide, and one person knows the way, and you got 100 people say, well, no, I ain't listening to him. I think we're going to vote on which way we think is the way. Which one you going to go with? And all of you know, you got any sense at all, right? If your brain listens to your body, if your body rules your brain, you're not going to be around very much longer. But you have to use your brain to discipline your body. It's all backwards. See? So anyway, that's a strong delusion right there. But it sounds good. I can vote. I control. Like slave master did during slavery. See? There's upgraded slavery. You're still a slave right now. You're still on the plantation. You're still in America. That's plantation America. It's a bigger plantation. If you take a lion and put him in a cage that's a mile by a mile and put all kinds of shrubbery and stuff in there, vegetation, the lion doesn't know he's in the cave. He doesn't know he's in the cage. He think he's free because he got all room around everything else. Maybe put a couple of zebras and he could catch him and everything. He'll never know he's a slave because the cage is so big that he thinks he's free. Same thing did with you. So now you're on a plantation and said, well, hey, okay, that those raggedy clothes we was giving you every day, now we're gonna pay you. See, before we were just giving you clothes, we were just giving you food, we was giving you a place to stay, we was giving you a mule to get back and forth to work. We was giving you these things. See, so you had to use our slave. So you did what we tell you to do. See, so we just giving you these things. So now we ain't slave no more. We're gonna pay you. We're gonna pay you just enough to buy those raggedy clothes that we was giving you before. Just enough to buy those shitlings that we was giving you before, right? Just enough, right, to buy that raggedy apartment that we was giving you before. And just enough to buy that old raggedy car that we was giving you to get back and forth to the farm. Because people that spend all this money because I got a BMW. And 9% of that is for what? Getting back and forth to work. Get back and forth to work for a slave master. 90% of it. Well, I got it. Really? I might as well catch a damn bus. So yeah, but I can vote now. Okay, who you voting for? I'm gonna vote for which son's gonna rule. Which one of the master's sons gonna rule the plantation when master dies? You see. So it's upgraded. So they tell you you're free now. And you're still working on the same farm because now you got a job now, right? Before you was just you're slaving, but now you're a worker. You're not a slaver anymore. You're a worker, and you still work for master on the plantation, right? And you're still eating master's food, shillings, still wearing his raggedy clothes, still living in his apartment. And and you still got master still running it. But now and all of you fall into this illusion. You can't find one nigga that tell me I am free. And every one of us are slaves still here. Every one of us. All of us fall for that illusion right there. It's a delusion. The taskmaster, now you call him boss. You see, still same thing, right? Slave master, he's the president of the company or whatever. Still the same thing. Still working for him. If you get out of line, he put your ass back in the hole again. Just like he did back when you had you in chains. So now you got your mind changed. He's upgraded. You're still the same thing. Still the same thing. If you're poor and you got a dog, you feed him scraps. When you get a little more money, right, then you might be able to feed him some hamburger. If you get a little more money, right, now you can feed him, right, maybe some steak. But if you get poor, you go back to eating scraps again. You're still a dog. They still call it, the Constitution, they haven't changed it. You're still a 3/5 human. That's an illusion that you're falling for, every one of you. Don't get mad at me because it's truth. You don't want to hear truth. That's why it says strong. That's why you fall for this delusion, because you don't hear the truth. Because it's too much for you. Because truth comes with responsibility. That means if you still a slave, what I'm gonna do about it? Because if you recognize and you say, "Hey, we still a slave, and man, I still got a slave, just tricked us." What you gonna do about it? You ain't gonna do nothing but watching this fella sit back there and still eating your chillings that you know is shit. Because when you cook it, you smell it all over the place. You see shit rise, but you still eat it. That's illusion in itself. Because not one of you, if I took your toilet bowl and cleaned that sucker for a whole 6 months, clean it. Don't let nobody use it, just clean it. With Mr. Clean, Ajax, whatever. Put acid on it, clean it, clean it. For 6 months, nobody touch it, nobody go and use it at all. I just clean it until my fingers get to bleeding. 6 months. Then I go and buy me this porterhouse steak, a juicy one, make $20, $50, $100 steak. And then you just see me clean it. You say, anybody use it? Nobody use it. And I bring you in there. I drop that steak off in there, right? let it drop in that toilet and bring it back, and you're not going to eat it. You won't touch it. But you eat chitlins. Now tell me, it's not that diluted? Move on, brothers and sisters. No delusion. This demon thing. Master took and raped our women and everything, produced his children, black-faced children. See? So now, we're deluded by them because they tell us they're the real thing. And we're supposed to listen to them. And they're supposed to be our role models. And so they're all over TV. Those are the ones on TV, television, and movies, and the positions, because they're the ones living in Master's house. So man said we should be like them, but we ain't them. So they're supposed to be our example. We're supposed to follow them. And look at what their division is. Love Master, work with Master, be patient with Master. See? Master's false religion. They'll turn you back to Master. Oh, we got to make the plantation better. Not get off it. Make it better. Make Master accept us. We work hard. Master will accept us. See, we got to have, the reason why Master's calling us niggas and stuff, because he's not accepting us, because we ain't working hard enough. We ain't love Master hard enough. We don't love Master enough. See, we got to really love him. We start love him. We start be real good Americans. And we good Negroes. And get us educated. Then he'll love us. He'll love us, see, and then he'll treat us just like he treats his own, his other children, because we the black sheep of the family. So, he'll treat us, his white sheep, he'll treat us like he treat them. That's another illusion. And when you fall for that, oh man, okay. Listen to what he's saying. He don't think like us. He wants to bring you to Master. But the ones that the real of us, right? That's Elijah Muhammad. We can't see him. We don't want to hear that stuff. You want to see him on TV. We ain't about to talk like him on TV. We ain't about to talk like Hollywood, on radio, or anything else. You won't hear it. See, that's where Farrakhan comes. Farrakhan, he's pretending, but he's over on the other side of here with the false one, Martin Luther King. He's over there on that side, but he's part of the illusion. See, because he's in a position. He's in top position. So hey, I'm sitting in Elijah Muhammad's seat. That's an illusion. Because I'm sitting in Elijah Muhammad's seat don't mean I'm with Elijah, but I'm sitting in his seat. That's the illusion. That's the demons. That's it was plagued by demons. Read Mark. The demons that's meant plagued by demons. That's the illusion. Supposed to be like them. Black History Month. Black MLK. See, two different visions. One wants to get the hell out of here and get back to reality. One wants to stay here and be in love with this illusion. Get stuck in this illusion. Get American dream. A dream is an illusion. You want the American dream? They're telling you right there, it's an illusion. A dream is an illusion. It's not real. Don't tell you the American reality, right? But I mean, that's even almost as bad. But the American dream, that's an illusion. I'm gonna take a few seconds to talk about this one, brother, because let's hold on for a second here. Let's take a short break for a second. A few seconds. Okay, this gets really, really. I mean, this delusion. There's no end to it because a lot of these depend on mental illusions, but they go into the biological illusion. See, physical, and that's the main focus is there nowadays. This so-called transgender thing, because they take you off the biological standard, male and female. They took you off the mathematical standard. Once Dr. Buddha took up the mathematical standard, he ready to bring all these other things in, right? All these other religious stuff, because it's got the mathematical standard. Because as long as you're on the mathematical standard, those things have a chance. So now they take off the biological standard. So it's not male and female anymore. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. You mean anything. So all of a sudden, it's no male and female anymore. There's no male and female anymore. So now, if you say you be whatever you want to be, so you can just, hey, I feel like I'm a female. We're going to want to feel like a female. So now, you got to be treated like a female in word and in deed and in action. So if you decide you want to go into the female bathroom, nobody can stop you. You're still biologically a male, but nobody can stop you. I feel like a female. So you want to go on the female track team, nobody can stop you. So now you wipe out all the females because that's what's happening. And they complain and say, hey, well, hey, well, you voted for this stuff. You in Boston now, they're getting down to the nitty gritty. So it's trying to destroy your sexuality, your identity, your physical identity. So already destroyed your mental identity. So now it's trying to destroy your physical identity. Because you don't see where this is going. Because eventually, right, you're in the bathroom, you're the male in the bathroom, all of a sudden these females pop up in there. You have no privacy. And you can't say anything about it. See? And your children, so your little girl, she go in the bathroom, right? Next thing you know, all these boys come up in there. You see? Nothing, anything to do about it. Everybody's confused. So you don't have any male or female anymore. See? So you end up marrying someone, and you can't put a birth certificate or anything. So you marry, you're a guy, you marry this if she tells you she's a virgin, so you don't have any premarital sex, right? After you get married, you get home, you just married a man. Physically and everything. You ain't got no sex change. You done married a man. And you ain't gonna be able to go and get divorced in that principle. Because they're gonna say, man, you can't, that's discrimination. You can't say I'm divorcing because it's a man. You don't even see where this is going. Think about that. Here you're a man, right? You go marry this person that you think is a female. And you can't ask them. And they don't have to send a birth certificate anymore, even on a driver's license. Because they feel like they're female. So you don't have any premarital sex. So you marry them, and then you get home, you find that you done married a man that's still physically a man. And now you want to get out of it, but you go and say, I'm gonna get out because you homophobe? See, you don't come out that you try to get divorced based on that principle, you're gonna lose your friends, you're gonna lose your job, you're gonna lose everything. That's what they're doing right now because he's a homophobe. So they can look at your email thing and say, hey, your social media, hey, this homophobe, he married, then he got rid of it because he didn't like it because he married because it wasn't a female. Because it was a female, right? But he didn't like the physiology. He didn't like our physiology is female. Because remember, he can identify as a female. She said, I'm a female. Yeah, but you got a problem with my physiology? You don't see where this is going? So you ain't better get a divorce. And if you do anything about it, everybody's gonna be against you. You could lose your job. Look at this stuff. They use Trump to use deceptive stuff. So now, if you hand anything to Trump, you could lose your job. If people are losing their job and everything else, they're setting this up. See? What they call that? I forget the word they use, but they setting it up. You see? Because they check you out right now. If you identify as a homophobe, you're not going to get a job anywhere. People are going to be down on you. So now that's what happened, because you're going to divorce this person because they're not a real female. Well, you a homophobe? So now your whole world's collapsed. See? And if your sister don't having sex before the marriage, the person obviously going to say no. So what? And so they're going to find all kinds of ways around. So what you going to do? Why you insisting? Because you're a homophobe? You immoral? I mean, you believe in sex before marriage? You see where this is going? It says in the scriptures got so bad that they were setting a court in the middle of the street. Setting a court, middle of the street. And when you came by, they would check to ask you, was you down with sodomy? And you'd have to commit an act to prove that you had wasn't a. That's how it got bad in Sodom, got that bad in Sodom and Gomorrah. And you got this clown frog talking about, well, there's none good, no, not one. That's not what the scriptures say. They was talking about, right, the devils. It says none of them are no good, not one. Because remember, in the Sodom and Gomorrah thing is, the whole thing was Abraham kept saying, it says not, no, none of them is good. So if I could just find 10, couldn't find anybody. That's why I destroyed the whole thing. He said, well, I can find 100. Well, okay, you found 100. Well, can I find 10? Well, I find one righteous person. Can find none. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about us, because Elijah Muhammad and Farah said we're righteous people. That's the Farah, because that's one of his illusions, trick thing. Say, oh no, you is sinful. You ain't no good, and we can't because we're sinful, right? So we don't have no right to Abraham come. We're not really able to teach Abraham, all that kind of stuff. He's a big liar because he's part of the illusion. But this thing right here is insidious. You have no idea where this is going. Right now, I tell you, you can go in any bathroom you want to. And you can't say anything. I just sent the bill. Then now on the women, right? They not win no sport as long as they live. Because all these men, right, they're going to say they feel like women, so they go on the teams. So that's going to wipe out all the women. The women don't even see that coming. See? They're putting them back in their place. Because that's what Adam's all about. Sunnism is all about. But you have no idea where this is going. See? And all original people see Abraham, they're against homosexuality because they had that problem out in California. They tried to pass this thing about same-sex marriage, and it was the blacks that voted it down. And they promised they're going to get even. Gays was angry about that. Why y'all? That's civil rights. They got nothing to do with our civil rights. That's your stuff. They try to compare everything, with us. But that had no black civil rights. That's your thing. But they said they get revenge. So therefore, when they come and you resist it, now you need to be indoctrinated. You need to be retrained. You need to be reprogrammed. See, worst case, put your ass in concentration camp, burn your ass up, because you can't be, you can't be, your mind can't be clear, straightened out, because you're against this. There's something wrong with you. You don't understand what's going on, brothers and sisters. This is a trap. Some of you are going to fall into it. Some of you fall into it, but they're not going to survive. It's not going to make it, but that's there. Brothers and sisters, I'm gonna leave that one. I could talk about that for a longer time, but I think you get the gist of it. See, that's the biological part. They took you out the mental illusion, not a biological illusion. See, physical. Brothers and sisters, I hope I'm waking some of you up out there. I hope so. Now another illusion, the media. Now some of you should have figured out by now. That's all propaganda. But it's promoting as truth illusion. So you reading this stuff and you take it as news. It's not news. It's propaganda. They ain't telling you news. Ask anything about slavery. Oh well, that's a long time ago, man. And you get all kinds of versions. Well, man, some of them you deserve it, Or man, you know about something happened before. I mean, you don't get no truth of any of these guys about anything. It's all propaganda. So they see, in other words, the way things work, the scientist sends a messenger. He comes with the news of what's happening, what's about to happen. He's telling you, he's bringing you up to date. He's the newsman. He brings you up to date what's happening, what's about to happen. That was Elijah. That's why I call him the messenger. He comes the messenger. They pretend to be the messenger. But they got all kinds of views. So not only they get opposing views, they got all kinds of totally confusion. So you listen to them, you should be watching Message Black Man. That's the news for now. Well, now the news right now is we move to the next phase with Suleiman. That's the breaking of the seals. But up to time you had Farah came, Elijah, he brought the news. You got Farah trying to do everything he can to distort the news, to cover it up, smoke signals, to cloud it. But Message Black Man now is the news. Up until time of Suleiman come along. You see? Then he got the morning news and the evening news. So you going along with all this stuff, you CNN, all this stuff, you're not getting any news there. You're getting propagandized. You want to find the news? The news up until Suleiman was the Message of the Black Man. That news is totally appropriate for everything we need to know. Told us everything we need to know. Up until time of Suleiman came along. Now he's telling you everything you need to know. He's telling you the real news like I'm telling you right now. That's the real news. You're not going to get anything like that from these people. And anything different, they snuff you out. If you start talking about Elijah Muhammad's news, that's why it's a message to the black man. That's the news. That's your news for this period of time. You don't need this daily stuff, right? It's still the same thing. You just keep regurgitating the same thing. But you need the news for the times. And Elijah Muhammad gave the news for the times. And now Suleiman is giving you the news for the times. These times. We went up to Elijah, right? Elijah up to Suleiman. You took Farrakhan to everything to put smoke screens over the news. Another illusion. See? So now they got this big illusion of who the creator is. They divorce you from your creation. So it gives you illusion. That's the illusion there. False Israel, that's the illusion. They're the seed of Abraham. They're not. Exodus talked about them. No, there's no proof whatsoever. But everybody's focusing on that illusion. So they look at that. They don't see you. They don't see you. Because that's the illusion. That's a delusion. And you got the fake Muslims and the fake black people, those are demons, they point you to this. Because if you look at this, you never see the real Muslims, the real seed of Abraham. That's where they were set up. So you would never see, because if you see the truth, the illusion is blown away. Delusion is blown away because the truth is right in your face, but they have to have a strong delusion, right, to take you away from the truth. They didn't see Abraham. See, they built up, they went back, they're going back to the promised land, right? All of a sudden, right, everybody's coming back and all this stuff. But there's no proof there was ever 40 years in Egypt, any place else. But that's a strong delusion. And the whole world is responding to that delusion right there. Because that's why you got all this trouble in the Middle East right now. Because the whole world is responding to that delusion right there. The whole world is responding to that delusion right there. All this trouble going on in so-called Middle East right now is because of that delusion. When the truth is, we're right here. We've been here all the time. We're actually walking, talking. The Bible and Exodus whole deal. We're here 40 years, right? 1619 to 2019, 40 years, right? Then the plague will be 2020. Exactly on time. It came exactly on time. It will kill the firstborn, right? That means the elderly, but it passed over us. So hey, that's the delusion right there, because it is passing over us. They hid it because told Africa, black Africa, is not affecting them. And they're not social distancing, not wearing masks, none of that stuff. They are the demographics we have over here. They hid that until late last year. I've been saying all year. So why is it getting us? Because it's not getting us. It's getting the demons that we talked about. The ones look like us, master seed. It's not getting us. All these delusions, illusion. I said, be given strong delusion. Every time I'm showing you, you can look at this stuff. This is pretty common sense. It's pretty clear. All these delusions that you're inundated with. That's why you half crazy. Because you don't see the truth anyway. You got all this delusion hit you. Bam, bam, bam. Everywhere you look, it's delusion, 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 delusion. How can you find your way through that? Elijah Muhammad fought his way through. He put you in neutral. And then Farrakhan put you back in reverse. And I'm trying to get you back, right? Those of you who are in neutral, trying to get you to move forward in the drive. Showing you all these delusions around you. Start thinking mathematics, you can see them. Understand pressure, how pressure works, because that's the fundamental principle behind all of this. Strong delusion. Look how strong this delusion is. It's got the whole world rocking because of it. Another delusion. The controversy between Ishmael and Isaac. They make you think that Abraham seed, that Sunnis, they Arabs, which are our brothers, right? That they're the inheritors. They're not. We are. The whole story in here about Esau and Jacob, we are inheritors. But they took it because they owed the son, but not by Sarah. Sarah was Abraham's lawful legal wife, and Ishmael's wife was Egyptian, which we know from scripture right now means European. She was a servant. That's how they got white. And then Ishmael in turn married an Egyptian. That's how they got white. So that's the illusion. So you think that they're the ones true to Abraham, and they're the ones inherit the land because they got it. They got control of the land, got control of the religion, got control of the language, all of it. And they ran us out into Africa. Well, actually, that's Africa too, but anyway, they ran us out to Africa. See, Northwest Africa. See, but Prophet Muhammad, when he came on the scene, he raised both. He raised both his sons, Ishmael and Isaac. Because we was on the northwest coast of Africa. How did we become Muslims? They tried to make you think that they was the only one raised Arabs, that they was the only ones decepted. Prophet Muhammad, they was only raised. No, the blacks, Isaac was raised too. How you think we became Muslims? But they ain't like Islam because they hate us. It said they would hate Joseph. That's why they threw him into the pit, threw him into slavery. And then the Pharaoh come to it, well, we're gonna be rulers in the land that rules in slavery. That's a lie. You read the story. The slavery came after Joseph. See? Came after Joseph. They try to make, well, the story of Joseph means we're going to control the land. Oh, so if you follow that logic, that means we're going to control the land, then we're going to go back to slavery again for 40 years. What the hell, who needs that? So that's another delusion. Right? That they control the land, that they're the natural inheritors. And a lot of us buy into that. And they betrayed us. They hate us. And now they're over here trying to make sure we never rise up again. Because they don't have control. That's why they want the nation to have a policy where you can't even be a citizen of that country unless you was born there. Because they don't want us coming back over there. And become a citizen, take that land back. They want a few countries that do that, maybe only one. That's another big illusion, that they're the ones, right, that they're the inheritors of Abraham. That's a big delusion. See, and they pushing it because they even say, they tell you, oh no, well, those niggas over there, they're not Isaac. They say the false Israel is Isaac. They all buy into this lie, the big illusion. They say, no, even though they fight with each other, see, we white, we all white together. See, because the Jews are white, they're white, right? They're light, so they're all the brothers. One's Isaac, one's Jacob, and we're nothing. We're some niggas that we stumble onto Islam because they totally racist against us. When those Arabs come over here, you don't see them marrying black people. They don't be around black people. They don't associate with them. They set little stores in our neighborhoods and all that kind of stuff and sells pork and pornography and everything else, right? And they want to sleep with the women, rape them, whatever they're doing, but they don't socialize with you. They don't talk with you. They don't spend time with you. But they spend time with the white Christians. They invite them over to their house and everything. They go to their house and associate. So why'd you watch them? They don't associate with you. But yet Farrakhan tell you to go to their mosque and pray with them. Pray with them. First of all, when you go there, if you claim you believe in Muhammad, you don't go over there and tell them that you believe in Farad Muhammad because they kick your ass out of there. You tell them you believe in Muhammad, they kick your ass out of there. So who you praying to when you go there? Because they call Farad a fraud. They call Elijah Muhammad a liar. So why would you go there and pray with them? Because you listen to the lie Farrakhan because he's a demon, right? And this represents, if you understand angel, the Sunnis represent the golden calf. That's another delusion. And most of you deluded by that. And a lot of Elijah Muhammad followers are deluded by that because remember, they're Levites. They came over here with us. See, you had two tribes in Africa. The original tribe there was the Levites. Right? We came out of Asia. We moved to Africa. We're the tribe of Shabazz. Their tribe of Levites. Elijah was a Levite himself. But we both was born into slavery. So they was grafted in since they don't enjoy the cup. They don't get the inheritance that we get because you have an orphan son, right? You don't give him the inheritance. You give your biological son, but you treat him like a son. But when the inheritance time comes, you give it to your biological son. So that's the same thing. So Abrahamic covenant goes to us, but they grafted in, right? And they're adopted, so they're adopted, so they get the benefit of it, but we get the inheritance. See, we're the gold and they're the silver. If you read Malachi, we're the gold and they're the silver. That's Levites. That's the ones in the Nation of Islam right now. The ones Elijah Muhammad raised. He raised the Levites, right? But it'd be Suleiman raised the tribe of Shabazz. That's Lazarus, right? And the widow's son, Elijah raised the widow's son, and he would raise Jesus or Joshua or Suleiman raised Lazarus. So you got the two. See? Well, I'm not going into all the details about that, but you understand? So that's an illusion right there. So it makes you think that they're the ones inheritors. Because they even tell you in the Quran, says, no, Isaac wasn't the one that sacrificed, it was Ishmael. A big lie, it's an illusion, big delusion. To make you think that you ain't going to get that land back. That's why Farad tell you ain't going nowhere. Why is he telling you that when the whole purpose of Farad was to come here, whole purpose Farad came here, right, to take us back home. Said we'll not return. Return means you go back to where you came from. So you have thorough knowledge that he came here to return us. And so thorough knowledge, once you got thorough knowledge, we go back, not stay here. And Elijah Muhammad, that's what he was telling. The whole thing, going back, that was the whole story. Return back to, he says, we'd be fools to want to stay in the land of our imprisonment. I have to take him saying it. We'd be fools to want to stay here in the land of our imprisonment. But Farrakhan said, we ain't going nowhere. Because he with them. He's part of the delusion. See, and then what's going back there? That's why they doing everything they can. They said Wallace and everything else to make sure they want to accept, get rid of Elijah Muhammad's teachers and follow Sunnism. Because in Sunnism, we ain't shit. We're nothing. And Sunnism, we're not going back home because we be here. Because we don't own anything in Sunnism because the Arabs got it. They're the true inheritors. No delusion. Reality. TV and movies. How much time you spend with that delusion? Those illusions. It's a delusion by nature, by definition. Because that's what you're watching, illusions. False realities. Adventures, science, dramas. And how much time you spend doing that every day, every week. See? So they're giving you a false reality that you're looking at, see, that you're not participating in other than just looking at it. So if you look at that, you ain't doing it yourself. You ain't outside having adventures, having drama, dealing with people and stuff, because you're watching this illusion on TV. So what's better? If you The artificial one, or you out in the world, interface with people, talking to people like you used to do a long time ago, interface with people, talk. That's why people so antisocial and people commit suicide, kind of stuff, so antisocial, because they watching the illusion on TV, all this fantasy stuff, and trying to emulate this stuff, and they're not living the real life. They're living an illusionary life, an artificial life. What's better? If you watching this, or you spend 2 or 3 hours watching this, or you out there doing stuff, or you watch 2 or 3 hours playing NFL, or you out there playing football with your kids, or the neighborhood, what's more interesting? What's more better for you? Then you understand why you overweight, obese, right? High blood pressure, and everything else, sitting out eating all your chips and everything, watching this garbage, when you could be out living your life yourself. That's one of the major illusions. And you're buying into it. And it's getting worse and worse. Like video games and everything else. And you're not living a life. You're stuck in an illusion matrix. You're not living any life. You live an artificial life. Instead of going out there and doing these things yourself. Like when I was a kid, the kids spent our time all outside. You couldn't keep the kids inside. Now you can't keep them outside. Because they're locked into this. The artificial reality or live reality. So most of you don't even know what a live reality is. You don't go out and do anything. Because you're busy watching movies and stuff. What if you spend all that time dealing with people, you know, then maybe you get along better. And they got you with this. They make billions and billions of dollars, right? Giving you this reality, false reality. I want to be watching Hulk do this and watching this and whatever. And you ain't living that life. Would it be more fun? That's why you're such a plastic person. It's just like a person that watches people at the gym. He's just sitting there watching them. He's fading away, right? He's getting old, fading away, falling apart. Muscles getting weak. He's getting all frail and everything. Watch people at the gym. Oh man, look at man, he's getting strong, man. Look at low pain. He's just sitting watching him. Right? He's just fading away. Next thing you know, right? He's laying back with his legs up like a roach, dead. Because he's just watching. Wasn't participating. You don't understand that one? You should understand this one. And your kids are falling in this trap and you lead them into it. Because most of you, first of all, they fix so you can't send your kids outside anyway. Because they put these predators out for a reason. To keep your kids in the house. And in the house, they got to watch this. They want you to watch this false reality. While they're setting their trap for you. Because you're afraid to let your kids go outside. When I was a child, you couldn't keep kids inside. Everybody was outside. You don't see them outside anymore unless you watch them closely. So most times spending time inside doing what? Watching this. Then you can understand why you can't control your kids and stuff. Because watch the kids on TV. Right? They don't have no respect for their parents. The TV, this reality is raising your children. Then they got the mother, she's at work someplace. So you got some food at school raising your children. If they ain't doing it, then the TV is raising them. Then you understand why you can't have no control of your children. The children now, this generation, they say this generation right here, will have no love for their parents. They'll be disobedient, hateful, spiteful, and everything else. Oh, this reality. See? Reality of fear. Because they got power. They got atomic bomb. Atomic bombs don't change reality. They're destructive. They don't change reality. See? Jesus came and he changed reality with the Bible. Prophet Muhammad came and changed reality, right, with the Quran. Then in the Renaissance, the Europeans with people like Newton carried on, right? They changed reality by going to mathematical Christianity. Science, the word, pressure. The greatest defense against pressure is greater pressure. See, when you live a proper life and do the five fundamental principles of Islam, right? You build pressure around yourselves, right? That means, and the pressure around you is greater than the pressure external, right? That's outside. Then the world around you. Then the world around you has an effect on you and the power on you because your pressure is greater than that. Greater pressure, um, right, overcomes weaker pressure, and pressure is thoughts, ideas. See, so they got that. So you're supposed to fear that. Fear that. See, but the real power is in Scripture. It tells you the real power nowadays at the end time right now will be the angel, 7 seals, because that's the wisdom, and the knowledge, right? Because that's power. It's real power. The change is reality changing power. Because that's going to change reality. It's going to get rid of all those time bombs and everything else. Because these people that that explode these time bombs have them, right? They have brains, and their brains are affected by pressure. And the angel has greater pressure than they have. So it's going to affect their brains. So they won't even be able to use these weapons. A lot of them they're not even be able to use. It's like the thing in the Quran talks about these people build a wall around them, build walls around their city so they're going to protect them from Allah. Allah took and put a thought in their mind and they just dismantled the whole wall themselves. See, they're not going to be able to use all this thing they have. See, because thoughts are pressure. And the angel is more powerful. It's an atom bomb, ATTOM. It's a reality changing bomb. It's the greatest one ever because it's going to change not just the reality of America, not just the reality of this continent, just the reality of the planet, the whole reality of the universe. And this is a process happening now. But they tell you, hey man, they want you to fear the atomic bomb. See? Now whether they use it or not, it's not going to change reality. Or you say, well, everything's going to be different. Yes, it's going to be different, but you're still going to be in this reality. It's just destructive. It's like you living in your house, and now your house, right, gets flooded, so you're still living in there. Still your house. See, or you build another house, but still another house, still the same reality, just a different house. See? But this is going to change reality, the way people think everything. That's what Angel does. It's power to change reality, because that's what scientists do. They send atom bombs, ATTOM. That's scripture, right? For a particular time, because time's always changing. To change reality. And those who adjust to the reality, right, continue on. Those that can't, they're crushed by the reality. See, some are transformed positively or constructively, and some transform destructively or negatively. So they got you afraid of this atomic bomb, which you should fear is the angel. Now, here we go. The visions. See? That's their vision right there. Cyborg. The ultimate reality changing for them. See, you don't understand what's going on with this. A cyborg is not a robot. A cyborg is a brain that's been installed into a mechanical body. So that body could be whatever you want that body to be. Like in this case, super strong, super powerful. The Hulk. See? But you have all kinds of electrodes and stuff connected to the brain. So your brain in a machine. So this machine can do whatever you want to do. If you want to make it to fly, you can make a machine that can fly. See? You want to make yourself feel good, right? See, you have a whole display, like right across your chest here, maybe across your chest, whatever, with buttons. Press this button, you feel good. See, you don't have to get no drug no more. See, because it's got electrodes in your brain, feel good, right? See? Or you want to go on a trip. So I'm going to go on vacation, press this button, right? And you feel like you're in the Bahamas for, say you want to make it 5-10 years, right? Because your distortion is on your mind. So it can make you think you was in that vacation. You're in there for 5 seconds, but you think you're in there 5 years. 5-year vacation. Just press the button. They're making movies like that because you don't understand how the brain works. Time is illusion. Because they was talking about, they had one movie where they took this person and they got rid of prisons. So what they put you in a chair, like an electric chair, right? Tie electrodes to your brain, right? And what they do is they take and they would hook you up to a computer, and the computer would plug this program that electrode to your brain. And so what you do is you feel like you was in, so you got sense of 5 years, right? So you would think you was in this prison for 5 years. I mean, just like a dream, because you see, you have dreams like that. Sometimes your dream look at things like a long time, but they found that these dreams that you think happen a long time, instant. But you thought it was a long time in that dream. So they can do that, manipulate your brain, so they make you think that you was in this prison for 5 years, experienced everything that you experienced in the prison. And you think it was totally real. And you think it was in there 5 years or 10 years or whatever they send you to. And you only been there for 5 minutes. And then they turn you off. You wouldn't want to go there because you felt like you was actually there. You wouldn't want that experience anymore. And so it'd be just as effective as you actually went into the prison. Just effective. And they can achieve that if they was allowed to achieve it. So like this DNA thing, they figure how a few years back they didn't have DNA. They knew about it, they saw it, in Mexico they saw it, and they thought it was going to take like 20, 30 years, 50 years to figure how, all this stuff to do with DNA now. But they didn't take into consideration computers. So with computers, they thought it would take 50, 60 years to do, they was able to do it a couple of years. So now, right now, you can go send your DNA and they tell all that kind of stuff. And they can do more stuff than you even realize right now. They starting to tell you about the stuff they're doing. And China's doing everything with DNA. So you just press a button. And you have a sexual experience that'll be every much as pleasurable as a real thing. Just press a button. And then all of a sudden, that's what you think you're actually having it. It's like you have a wet dream. You think it's real. Just press a damn button. Ultimate illusion. That's what they're working on. You want to have an adventure, right? Like say a vacation, you want adventure is you the Hulk, press a button. And you can make it last 20 years if you think. And you in your mind, 5 minutes, but you think you was in 100 years doing all the adventures the Hulk doing, kicking ass and everything else. You think that's fake, you think that's making up stuff? Go and start to these real scientists working stuff. I'm telling you, everything I'm telling you is absolutely true. It ain't go beyond that. Because once they come to this cyborg thing, right, and they're able to hook those electrodes to your brain, they can make you think, feel anything they want to make you think or feel. Anything. Who wouldn't buy that? And your children will be right down with this. Your children will be right down with this. You can't find a child that would say, man, I'd love to be that. Because they're already setting them up for it. But you ain't going to get that. You ain't going to never get there. That's the vision. Because you're going to help them get there with your creativity. Everything. Help get, like the Democratic Party using these Negroes, house Negroes, to get there. Because they need them to get in power. But once they get in power, they're going to come against them and get rid of them too. That's why they're going to tear this country apart, because they're going to find they're betrayed, because the Democratic Party is about to pull the mask off. So this mass stuff, that's kind of like prophetic. Pull them out. And then that's when they're going to realize, because all this is setting a trap. And then they're going to realize that's why they're going to tear this country apart. They can find they was betrayed by Biden. All these people, they was using them because they need the black folks to help them to set this thing up, because they couldn't do it. You need votes and stuff. But they using them to plan against themselves. Because why the hell are they going to tear this country up if they got control of it? And they're the Democrats. Why are they going to be tearing? That's the system of tearing this country apart. That's so-called locust plague. But they're going to find they were betrayed because they was using them to get the power. And so, but you ain't going to never get here. See, that's a Lamborghini. You have a Lamborghini body. They got Lamborghinis now. Can you afford it? No, you got to go in your little Volkswagen Beetle or your little Nissan or Toyota. See? So they're going to say, okay, here's the body. Okay, you can get it for $1 million. Can you buy it? No. So all your masses should be having these bodies. And how are you going to compete with that? This body will be immune to any kind of disease and anything else. That's got to protect the brain, because metal don't get affected by diseases and all that kind of stuff. Plus, they tell you they're corrupting the weather. It says what they call it, uh, uh, um, all this plant with environmental stuff. They said corrupting. It says the weather, everything's been all messed up, but he won't be affected by that. Affected by rain, all that kind of stuff. If rain, just push a button, sunshine for him. Rain is not gonna mess this metal up. But your physical body is gonna be affected by all that stuff. If there's work to do, he can do it without getting tired. So you're gonna be obsolete. So what are they gonna keep you around for? And anyway, the environment's all messed up. Global warming, all that stuff's all messed up. You won't be able to survive anyway. You have to have that buy, but you ain't gonna be able to afford it. See? But they're gonna make you think, oh man, you can have it, but that's not your field, because you ain't gonna be able to afford it. Because they got Lamborghinis, but can you buy a Lamborghini? How many black folks you know can buy a Lamborghini? They got them out there. How many can even buy a Porsche? Got them out there. So you can have that buy, you ain't gonna be able to afford it. So if you can't afford it, you can't live. You can't survive on this planet anymore. See? And you can live forever in that body because your brain doesn't decay like the rest of your body do, as long as if it's kept fed proper oxygen, right? Or whatever so a body part, they can just replace it. But you won't be able to do that. So how long you be around? That's their vision. That's their working towards. Getting closer to it every day. So the guy here on the other one, yeah, he got that. See, that's our vision. See, to control two different visions. See, Yakub's grafted vision, Dr. Yakub's vision, Dr. Shabazz vision. We're going to win, but most of you are not, because you're not listening. See, if they get this in, none of us will survive. They got their vision there on here on the left. None of us survive. They're not going to get it. But a lot of you are going to be lost. A lot of your children will be lost because you've fallen for all these illusions, and that's the ultimate illusion right there. Because once you have that body right there, you're impervious to the rest of the universe. All you got to do is install sex button. Give me a sex program, right? Give me a pleasure program. Give me a vacation program. Give me a venture program. You don't need movies no more. See? You don't need movies, none of that stuff. It's all right there. It's all programmed. You got a computer built in. And it make you see whatever you want to see. It's like dreams. And you'll be real, totally more real than reality. More real than what you think when you wake. It's right here. That's their city over here on the left. The mechanical city. Because that's analytical mind. They think analytically. That's their dream. That cyborg, see like that? Because they're mechanical. That's their dream. We're biological. We're the true seed of Abraham. We're the spatial side of the brain. That was Yakub did. He separated, right? Dr. Shabazz, he emphasized the spatial side. Dr. Yakub emphasized the analytical side. Now you got the two warring against each other. For who's going to win? It's a zero-sum game. One is both. Only one is realities will win. The one on the left, we're not around anymore. The on the right, they're not around anymore. You original people, you see Abraham, you won't be around if they had the one on the left. I don't care if you think you're Oprah, whatever, you won't be around. Right? If you're not, you won't be around for the one on the right. That's the war. The angel is bringing the one on the right in. And it's going to bring it in. See? 7 seals. It says no 7 seals. Nothing happened until the seals are broken. So that means the seals is causing it. And the seals broke in 1990. Everything's been again changing. Explosion is something. Explosion means expansion. See? So you think explosion is something happened like, no. It's just, it's time. Those are explosions that happen with the sun's exploding. stars exploding. But some take long, some take billions of years to complete the process. Some take a few minutes. See? So it's changing reality right now. So that's the one on the right. Biological paradise. That's the one the Quran talks about. This one on the left is their paradise, which you will not be in if they could see, they achieve it. And they will not be in if we achieve ours on the right. Because it's two different visions. The devil and demon vision on the left, original people vision on the right. Okay, bro. Since I wasn't, I've been just took a while, but I'm gonna run through this real quick, right? I've talked about this before, but I'm gonna run through it quickly, right? This is talking about this what's about to happen. It's JCOP, right? See, so we're gonna go into that. Okay, what happened is this agreement was made by Obama in 2015, right? It's supposed to last 25 years, right? But they didn't account for, because they thought Hillary was going to be president and so forth, so on. They didn't account for Trump. He took and he killed it 3.5 years later. It says they ran in Syria. They're the witnesses. They'll be underfooted nations for 3.5 years, 42 months, right? That's what it means, the underfooted nation of Bob, under control of the UN. That's what that means, under control of the UN. Right? They'd be there for from 2015 to 2018, mid-2015, that's 3.5 years. And then the agreement we broken. Trump broke the agreement, right? Then it says they would start moving up. So it would take them 2 years, right? 2 years to move up this position. That would put them from 2018 to 2020, where it says they would plague the earth. The earth represents Gog, Magog, Europe, and everything. That's the earth. So they would plague, they would afflict them with a plague, right, as often as they will. So that means they would afflict the European countries with a plague, right, in 2020. That's exactly what happened. That's what they're trying to figure out. First, the plague was coming from China. They say they don't know where it's coming from now. The angel tells us, the Bible tells us that Farad came from him. It says, I will send this plague. And the purpose of plagues is to drive us out all together, not 6 states, all together. We go at home, brothers and sisters, this year. That's the purpose of the plague. See? But when this war breaks out, everything becomes clear. False Israel become clear. Everything becomes clear. And they're going to drive us all together. We're going back home. And so they're in this position, right? So in other words, they're putting pressure on Europe. They're moving up, putting pressure on America. So now war is about to happen. That puts you in 2020, now 2021.
After these I saw other angels stepping down out of the heaven, having authority great, and the earth was lighted up out of the glory of him. And he cried out in strong voice, saying, She fell Babylon the great, and she became dwelling place of demons and prison of every spirit unclean and prison of every bird unclean and having been hated. Because out of the wine of the anger of the fornication of her have fallen all the nations, and the kings of the earth with her committed fornication, and the traveling merchants of the earth out of the power of the unreigned luxury of her they became rich.
Okay, this is the war. It's about to take place. They're threatening Iran, right? They said they don't stop, but the war's about to take place. That's what happens here. That means Gog and Magog is kicked out, and Babylon has fallen. America's fallen. We see that in a second, right? And during this time, that's when the 4 winds blow. When 4 winds blow, and release, and that key, the 4 winds also, that key right there is one of the winds. So he's released. So it says that 5th angel, Isa, right there, he's the 5th angel. He gets the key to open the bottomless pit, to let out the locusts. That's locust plague that's getting ready to take place, right? So anyway, the war take place. They kicked out of the Middle East, Iran and Syria, right? This year they kick them out. That's Michael and his angels. They kicked them out of the Middle East, right? They fallen. At the same time that Suleiman will come to the Nation of Islam to rescue them, because now they're being attacked. That's what you're seeing right here. I got previous ones that explain it a little better, but I'm just going through it quickly, right? That's what's happening right here, right? So He's getting ready to release. The wars took place. That's what's about to happen within a few days. Wars taking place. That's in America. And Babylon falls. That means that it's going to be at war with Europe, right, and China, right? But during this time, that's when Suleiman, the sun right there, will come to the NOI. Okay. Why is that not playing? Okay. So that's what shows the keys and win the same thing, but it's not. Okay, now it's talking about I heard a voice out of heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people." Right. So who is the voice from heaven? Let's go back to that. See right here, heaven up here, where you see Farad is, in that position, that's voice. The one under the bottom, everyone has 6 wings, but the one in that position is voice. We see demon down here, the red one, that's a voice. See where it says, well, you don't see him right here, but anyway, when you're in that position, you're a voice. So voice of heaven, that's Farrakhan talking, because he's the voice from heaven. Heaven's up there where Farad is. So when you're in that position, under, because sometimes a horse, sometimes a voice, that's Farrakhan's talking, right? So he's saying, I heard a voice out of heaven. This is what he's going to say right here.
And I heard other voice out of the heavens saying, Come you out, the people of me, out of her, in order that not you should share together to the sins of her, and out of the plagues of her, in order that not you should receive, because we're glued together of her the sins until the heaven, and call to mind the God the unjust acts of her. Give you back to her as also she have back, and double you the double according to the works of her, in the cup to which she mingle you to her double, as many as she glorified herself and lived unreigned in luxury, so much give you to her torment and mourning. Because in the heart of her she is saying that I am sitting queen, and widow not I am, and mourning not I should see.
So what's happening here is that the voice of, remember, let's go back here. Right here, this is the one, says win glory. That's the one, the angel, and he falls down and says Babylon. So he's the one that's talking to Babylon. So Babylon's under him, right? Babylon's under him. So I expand that to show who's under him, because that's what he said. Heard voice from heaven said, "Come out of her, my people." That's what. So he's come out of Babylon. Said, "Come out of her, come out of her." Who? Where? Come out of Babylon, my people. So it tells you who his people are. When just say who their people are, you know who he is. Come out of her, my people. Now in Babylon, it said Babylon became the home of every demon, unclean spirit, of a hateful bird, right? See, are demons and unclean birds? That's what's in Babylon, right? It says dwelling place. There you go, right there.
And I heard other voice out of the heavens saying, Come you out, the people of me, out of her, in order that not you should share together to the sins of her, and out of the plagues of her, in order that not you should receive.
Okay, so that's what's happening. So it says that's a demon. It says home of demons. That's his people, because he's a demon too. That's another way. Farrakhan's a demon. He said, "Come out of my people." And he says, "So you receive her place, because they're the plague. They're the locust plague that comes out of there." You got to understand this. So that's what he's saying. See, and he said, "Give double." Why double? Because the locust plague, right? It's 2 of them. One's already occurred last year, and that George Floyd thing, that went on for 5 months, exactly 5 months. And the second one, that's why it says give double. But this one's going to be 10 times worse than anything that happened. This one's going to tear this country apart while America's at war. See, that's what all the stuff is going on right now, right? Because America be attacking them, call them terrorists. See, you already sent a predicate for it. So I'm not going to, like I said, I've talked about it before, so I'm just moving on.
Through this in one day will come the plagues of her, death and mourning and famine, and in fire she will be burned down, because strong Lord the God the having judged her. And they will weep and they will strike themselves upon her, the kings of the earth, the with her having committed fornication and having lived unreigned in luxury, whenever they may be looking at the smoke of the firing of her. From long off having stood through the fear of the torment of her, saying, Woe, woe, the city the great, Babylon the city the strong, because to 1 hour came the judgment of you. And the traveling merchants of the earth are weeping, and they are mourning upon her, because the full of them no one is buying, not yet.
Okay, what it's talking about here is Suleiman's, this is the point where he comes in the lie, because it says the Lord you seek, the messenger of the covenant. See, they tell you, oh, anybody's coming to Elijah. It's right there in Malachi. It says he will suddenly come to Elijah's temple. That means he's not Elijah's come to his own temple, right? And he's not Farad, because he says he will send Elijah to prepare a way before me. So Elijah prepared the way before Farad prepared the way before Elijah. So Elijah's not prepared the way before Farad. So as me says, so that's Suleiman. So he comes. That's when he finally comes. He cleans it up. He got to get rid of the demons that prepared him to go to tribulation, because they have to go to tribulation. Not going into all the detail. That's what's happening here. But at the same time, that's when the locust plague. They're gonna start tense, because they realized they was betrayed by a Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party pull a mask off. Then they're gonna be tearing this country apart, and that's when the four winds. That's what Suleiman gonna call the four winds down. See, call the four winds down from Farad. Okay.
And were given to the woman the 2 wings of the eagle the great, in order that she may be flying into the desolate, into the place of her, where she is being nourished their appointed time and appointed times and half of appointed time from face of the serpent. And threw the serpent out of the mouth of it behind the woman water as river, in order that her born by river it might make. And gave aid the earth to the woman, and opened up the earth the mouth of it, and drank down the river which threw the dragon out of the mouth of it, and was made wrathful the dragon upon the woman, and it went off to make war with the leftover of the seed of her, of the observing the commandments of the God and having the witness of Jesus.
Okay, in short, right? 2 wings of eagle. Eagle represents European countries. So they're identifying which one they talk about. That's the Christian blacks. They're the demons. That's the one. That's the part of the woman, because woman's corrupted. Half of it is demons, and 2 of them is six wings there. 2 of the wings are the elect. 1 wing is the Levites, and the other 3 wings are demons. So that's one of the demons, and they call it the pale horse, but it's really greenish yellow. So that's the part of the woman that has the 2 wings. That's the one right there, right? So they're saying that if you read it, okay, I'm not going to go into all the details. The leftover will represent the Levites. That's the part of the woman that's left over. That's the one that it says that the dragon will have to make war with. See, that's talking about the dragon, the Sunnis, because they're going to make war with the Nation of Islam, and also America's going to make war. America's go after them, and Sunnis will go after them too. It says, the dragon says, what it says, and it was made, and the dragon was made wrathful upon the woman, got angry with him, and went off to make war with the leftover seed of her. That means the nation. Why? Because at this point in time, false Israel is gone. So that means that proves that they wasn't a seed true to Abraham, because the whole covenant says once you return, you'll never be removed again. So they're gone. So that means the whole world knows, it's clear that we're true to Abraham. They got to fulfill their agreement with us 50,000 years ago. They don't want to do it. The Sunnis know that they just been kicked out of the Middle East by the Sunni, by the Shia. They be kicked out, right? And they know we come to take that land back. So they're going to try to destroy us right here before, to try to destroy them, right? They ain't going to be able to get to the elect, because elect is not deceived by his illusion. It says the elect would not be deceived. It said the delusion would be so great that even deceive the elect, it was possible. But the elect will not be deceived by all this, right? But Levites will be. So they know they get their hands on Levites, they're going to try to destroy them, right? Because they know when they come home, they're going to be helped fight, take that land back. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Okay, I'm going to go through this really quickly. Now, here we're talking about the bomb. Now, they have their little bomb called a thermonuclear bomb. The outside, requires 2 bombs. It takes a fission bomb to ignite the fusion bomb, which is more powerful. That's thermonuclear bomb. The bomb they dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki was a fission bomb, right? That's a weaker bomb. But the one the other ones they have that are more powerful are the thermonuclear bombs, the fusion bomb, which you need the fission bomb to trigger, right? So I'm saying that because the same technology, this pressure technology, same technology was used by scientists when they sent scripture, because scriptures are atom bombs, ATTOM, double T, yeah, and they change reality, they change reality changing bombs. So they prepared a special one for this time because they wanted us. They knew when Yakub's creation was coming in, they knew they need to have someone powerful enough on the scene, right, to protect us. You understand? Because Farad is protecting us physically, but we need to be protected mentally. That's why Farad said you will not return to a thorough knowledge of self. So he needs someone to get our mind straight, because when your mind changes, your reality changes. So he had to snap us out of this illusion to get us back control of our creation. And Farad protect us while this process is happening. So this is the bomb that they set up.
Our Lord, and raise up in them a messenger from among them who shall recite to them thy messages and teach them the book and the wisdom, and purify them. Surely thou art the mighty, the wise.
That's why it says Abraham's for his descendants, us, right? The book and the wisdom. What's the book? The book is the angel. The wisdom is the knowledge of pressure. That's what the wisdom is. Science. Okay, this is the bomb they prepared, right? They need a bomb to trigger, to start the process, right? They need several bombs to trigger the ultimate bomb, which is in the center there. That's us. That would produce a scientist that was greater than Yaqub, much greater than Yaqub. Because Elijah Muhammad said we would stand as condition till we would be able to produce a scientist that was wiser than Yaqub, right? So they produced ultimate scientists, right? Okay, so the first one ignited was Isa, when he ignited the gospel. I mean, the sealed Bible. That took down the Roman Empire, right? And put pressure on Europe and Asia, right? That exploded. So all that explosion was so powerful, right? That it produced Prophet Muhammad, because all that pressure produced Prophet Muhammad with the Quran, right? So that exploded, and that changed reality, right? So the reality changed, because the first one was under control of the Pope for 500 years. See, the Catholic Church, and then Islam exploded and changed the reality of the whole region, and it kept that first reality bottled up because it was greater. The second bomb was more powerful, so it bottled up this first one. It was greater pressure, so it bottled up the Christians up in Europe for 1,000 years. You understand? Then that pressure was so great that it produced mathematical Christianity, which was even greater explosion. Well, that explosion did what? It bottled up both. It was great, it was more powerful than the Islamic one and the Christian one under the Pope, right? And it bottled up both of them. So now it has both of them on their knees. It bottled up, it's bottled up Sunnism, got to control Sunnism, got to control the church, Pope. The Pope was the ultimate power. Boom. Islam pushed them aside. This one pushed both aside. Got both of them aside. Okay. And that one, right, that ignited and created this reality you see right now. And that pressure was so great, that was the one that triggered this one, the angel. Could produce Suleiman. See? And the angel. He was powerful enough because that was the verification of him. He was powerful because he had to produce somebody powerful enough to break those seals. Because remember they had this book ever since Isa came along. But no one was powerful enough to break those seals because they need all these explosions. More powerful explosions, like the Cavies bomb. They need outer bomb to ignite the inner one. So all these explosions kept until finally it got to enough pressure to produce Suleiman, who would break those seals, right, and change total reality. That's the way scientists do it, because these are bombs. These are more powerful atomic bombs because these change reality. See? So this bomb is going to change. Just like you see, this reality is totally different than the Islamic reality. Look at it. Look, it's based on mathematics. Very weak mathematics, but weak strong enough, right? Look at total reality. They changed reality totally. And now Injil's going to change reality universally.
Even the captives of the mighty will be taken away, and the plunder of the tyrant will be retrieved. I will contend with those who contend with you, and I will save your children. I will make your oppressors eat their own flesh, they will be drunk on their own blood, as with wine. Then all mankind will know that I, the Lord, am your Savior and your Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob.
Okay, we're saying here, this explosion will be so powerful, just like the one before, it knocked out the Sunni Empire, right? And that knocked out the one before that, the Pope Empire, Christian Empire, right? So this one is so powerful, it's going to crush all the other ones. Crush them. It's going to crush. This was so bad, right? The one right now that we're, because we're putting right in the middle. We're putting under total more pressure than anybody else. See? We're putting that's why we're being transformed in the blink of an eye. Because we're putting under intense pressure for 500 years, 400 years, on intense pressure enough to produce Suleiman, right? And now at night the explosion. But this explosion is so powerful, it's going to crush all the other ones. See? And it's going to crush so bad, so they're going to eat their own flesh. That's just telling you how bad it's going to be totally crushed. Totally. It's only going to be one reality after that. It's going to crush all the other realities. All of them going to be gone. Sunnism, it tells you in Exodus that that's what happened. The golden calf, it says what? Moses tore that calf up and destroyed it, crushed it, threw it in the sea. All these realities are going to be totally crushed. Totally. It's going to be one reality like it was in the beginning. As it was in the beginning, so shall be in the end. It'll be one reality. It's a mathematical reality. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.